Good evening, friends. Happy to see you all on, on behalf of the Department of Science. I welcome you all for the last day of Joseph's Virtual Healthcare. When your eyes are beautiful, you will love the world, and when your words are beautiful, the world will love you. Yes, on the first day, we have seen how our eyes are able to see the beautiful world, and today, the last day, we are going to see how we are going to make the world to see us through our kind and positive character. We, the entire family, have been locked in lockdown. Husbands locked in a room with a laptop, children locked in a room with mobiles in the name of online classes. We women get locked into the kitchen. When we come out of our rooms, we are filled with stress, bored thoughts, arguments, and disarguments. There is a solution from a great woman who is available with us here to create and mold our positive action to develop a positive vision. She has completed her MPhil and PhD in psychology and working as a professor in Meenakshi Medical College. She is a founder of Psyhub Brain and Behaviour Clinic. She is also a honorary special counselor for the family court for the past 15 years. She is a visiting counselor for SRM College Faculty of Arts and Science. She is one among the member in the Board of Insurance, which made to include autism in the Chief Minister's scheme. She is a guest lecturer for National Academy of Central Excise and Narcotics. She has received an award from Anugraha Foundation. The great woman is with us, and she is Dr. Nappinnai Seran, the famous motivational speaker. Welcome, ma'am. On behalf of Department of Science, St. Joseph College of Engineering, we welcome you, ma'am. Now the screen is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been a great honor to be part of St. Joseph's, and you've been doing a really great job. For a week, you've been taking people along to help themselves, and it's going on a big level. That's what I heard, and that's what I saw. It's been going on a very big level that you've been working. You started from the eye, and we're moving towards ourselves. That's a beautiful concept. You spoke of dentistry, you spoke of gynecology. But today we are all going to talk about something that all of us go through not only during times of corona, every time. Even a small child would say, I'm stressed. Everybody talks of the word stress. Is it true stressing? Are we all really under that much of stress? Or do we need some external help? Does stress create problems for us? These are all questions that keeps coming in our mind about when we think of stress. Why is it I'm so stressed? Why is it I'm not able to handle stress? When we were talking about stress, there was another doctor who said, look, I think hereafter we should not talk of stress management. Rather, we must make it as a part of our life, that it should become like how you're doing exercise for physical fitness. There must be done, you must do something so that you're mentally fit and you're stress fit. It's okay to have some amount of stress. And she wanted to say, why don't we have some stress fit? Keeping all this in mind, I thought during this corona, all of us have a lot of stress. What to cook could be the lady's problem. When to come out and eat could be the man's problem. And the lady who's working will be shuffled between, how do I go in the kitchen? How do I come and work? And, there's a lot of imbalance, which is also causing stress. And there's no external help, and we are always helping ourselves, which causes even more displeasure amongst the family members when one child doesn't help or when the husband doesn't cooperate. There's so much of confusion, and there's a lot of stress going on within us. So is this stress good? It's a question, because all of us say the major problem in life is because of stress. So let us see what is stress, where we get from stress, what happens when we have stress, what do we do? We stress fit. So let me just start with the statement. All of us have a fear that if stress is going to be a part of my life, if it is going to be my everyday part of life, how am I going to manage this? How am I going to handle this stress? So let us learn to manage stress and live happily ever after, like a fairy tale comes. Let us live happily ever after. So, stress management. Let us see. This word stress we've all been hearing for years together. I remember the word stress when we were young children was more in the book of physics. When we checked in the Oxford Dictionary, when I came into psychology, people had already done a lot of study about it, and they said it is a constraining or impelling force. That is what the dictionary explains. Of course, Hans did not know what to name it, so he borrowed it from physics. Hans Selye was the person who created this terminology called stress. He was the father of stress, is what we say. He proposed a theory of stress. And he also has a beautiful statement saying, adopting the right attitude can convert a negative stress into a positive one. So, most of the time, the way we see things, our attitude matters. There are people who had really difficult times in life, but they had a positive attitude and they've come out of it. There are people who had the best of everything, but always had a habit of cribbing, always had a habit of blaming others, who never came with a proper solution. So, probably, let's see whether our attitude is making us convert our negative stress into a positive one, like what Hans says. When there is stress, it affects your body, your mind, your emotions, and your behavior. Most of the time, we thought stress affects the body and the mind. We never thought it will affect my emotion or my behavior because there's a confusion about what is mind, what is emotion. Am I seeing this together? I'm seeing it differently. When there is stress, physically you have a lot of aches, there are a lot of pain. You have neck pain, you have shoulder pain, you have back pain, and you feel tired very often. Very often you don't have the energy to work. Your muscles pain. There are a lot of skin irritations. Even the dermatologists say if there is stress, there are a lot of lesion in the skin. There are a lot of itching, probably urticaria or eczema. These are all because of stress. We have breathing problem because when there is stress, there is a lot of palpitation. You feel heavy in the chest. In the mind, you start worrying. You're not able to decide. You're having a lot of impaired judgment. You don't know what to choose, and we make mistakes in our judgments. And we are very hasty when we decide. When it comes to emotions, we become irritable. We fight with somebody, we shout at somebody, we feel depressed. So there's always a fear, apprehension. Do I do this or do I do that? Whether it will work properly. We lack confidence in ourselves. Something that you and I would have been doing easily, but when there is stress, we lack confidence. And in behavior, definitely this is the most alarming part, that emotions and your behavior is where we psychologists are more concerned, because we see a lot of substance abuse happening. People don't eat properly, they're prone for accidents, they're restless, they have sleep disturbances, they feel lonely, because of which there are times when they've even attempted suicide or committed suicide. Just last week we saw a very famous businessman, when he was identified with corona and was admitted, could not handle this stress and therefore he committed suicide. So, stress leads to depression, which could lead to suicide, which is where we are talking more of how to handle stress. Just before we learn to understand how to handle, I thought since all of us are more interested in knowing in detail about stress, let me tell you how stress works in our body or how we react to stress. When there is a stressful situation, there's a get an alarm. Oh my God, how do I handle this? How am I going to face this? Then comes a resistance. No, I cannot. I am not capable. We do not believe in our resources. We don't think we are capable of handling it. Then there is a fight and flight or freeze. We either fight with it, that we can, we try to beat the stress, or we run out of the stress, or we freeze there. All this happens during your resistance phase, where you don't want to take up the challenge. Maybe you do, or maybe you don't take up the challenge. Finally, you feel exhausted. You feel you can't do anything beyond a point, and there's so much of exhaustion. A physician in 1951 gave a definition for stress. He says, stress, in addition to being itself, was also the cause of itself and the result of itself. This shows how complicated stress is. Internally cast within us or from somebody outside. So that is why Hans says we don't know what stress is, but we all say, oh, I'm stressed. I know what is stressing me. Most of the time, we're not clear about what is stress and where it comes from, whether we are the major cause of the stress or whether it is coming from outside. We feel stress can be categorized as you go nuts. Stress can be also categorized as novelty, unpredictability, threat to ego, and sense of control. What is novelty? We are used to doing something in a way. Say, for example, teachers were used to take classes in school, they had a board, they were able to stand in front of the student, see whether the student is listening or not, then they were able to talk or take class. But whereas now we are all doing it online, there's so much of novelty. The day one, when we had an online webinar or an online meeting, all the teachers were scared whether we'll be able to handle it. If it is possible to talk in front of a screen where no children are there. I think this was done long back by a very famous teacher called Nannan. He used to pretend that people were sitting in front of him. Now we know children are sitting in front of us, but we're not sure whether they're listening. So when there is something new, rather than doing it the way that we always have been doing, we have a lot of anxiety and stress. When there is something new that needs to be done from how you've been doing, there is a lot of stress. When there is a change, when there is unpredictability, particularly this corona, we don't know when it is getting over. We don't know when we can get back to our routine, when we can go out and meet our loved ones without an e-pass. There's so much of unpredictability which causes a lot of stress in any individual. Threat to ego. If I cannot do this, or people criticize me, or people tell me to do something which is impossible for me, or put me on to too much of pressure, if there is a threat to my ego, whether I will do it properly or whether I'm respected properly for what I'm doing, there's a lot of stress in us. And sense of control. When I feel there's somebody who's controlling me not to do what I really want to do, when I feel I'm not permitted to do what I want to do because there is somebody who's controlling me from being myself, there's a lot of stress in the individual. Let's see when stress occurs. As I told you, after nuts, we have categorized even more clearly for people to understand fear and uncertainty. We have no control over the events. When somebody dies, we have no control. Corona, we have no control. We don't know whether we will get it or we will not get it. So there is a lot of stress in this period where there is uncertainty and fear associated with it. Your attitude, like what Hans says, your attitude and the way you view it or the way you understand it or your perception of understanding the situation. We all know we are on a webinar session. We all know we cannot, see a person nod at us. I might not know if somebody is really feeling happy or sleepy, but my attitude is today I've decided I'm going to take the show excellently. I'm going to do it positively. So, and I believe people will certainly like it, and I'm sure people will take home some message or leave me some message. So, this is the situation where when there is negative stress, can also become a positive stress depending on your perception and your attitude. Unrealistic expectation. We all want to be perfect. So lovely to be perfect because I love to be perfect and I'm part of a perfectionist family. So I prefer to be perfectionist. But when there are changes in this, When something that you do not expect suddenly crops up. Say, for example, for these ladies, you thought you will have gas cylinder, but suddenly the cylinder is over. Or the husband, he thinks every day, we must finish work by this time. Suddenly a neighbor comes in saying, hey, I need your help. Somebody is sick. When there is an unrealistic expected, you never expected that, but it all of a sudden happened. It is not what you really wanted though. So when you have your limits of perfection, and if you're not able to maintain that, you'll end up in stress. Change anything. Any happy moment or a happy event or an unhappy event. Even if there is a happy event, we say there is stress. So let's see, we're talking of certain stress which can be positive also. At the same time, it could be negative. Before we go to that, let us see what are the basic sources that can contribute stress. As I told you, it is both internal and external, where stress can contribute more to us or more pressure to us. Environments, when there's heavy thunder, when there was a heavy rainfall. In 2015, I remember people were immensely stressed because there was so much water everywhere. Yeah. And we did not have current. We didn't know how to eat because none of the shops were open. We didn't get milk. We had to manage with whatever we had. So weather, which was an environmental stressor in 2015, made us understand life needs to go on in spite of all this. People get very stressed when there is a loud noise. You might not like people having a jarring music system in their house, or you might not like your husband or wife or mother in law, father in law, or even children for that matter, keeping a TV volume more than what you expect. This, even when you're in a traffic, when there's a noise honking of the horns, you might get very stressed. When you're in a traffic, you might want to leave early. You must have planned to go there much ahead. And when you're a perfectionist, you wanted to be there on time, but there is traffic on road and pollution. These are the environmental stresses which all of us face in our day-to-day lives. Social stress. When we have deadlines, company requires that you have to do it maybe by tomorrow evening, 5 o'clock, and with so much of work, we get so stressed. When there is a deadline that you have to finish your portions much ahead because we are going to have a close of class and we cannot do that. So there is a deadline and you find it very stressful. When you have a financial problem, when you cannot handle the problem, it is very stressing. You might like your job or you might not like your job. There are times when I've had people come and tell me, you know what, I'm paid very well for this job, but it is not satisfying. I'm not really happy. People are envious of my job, but I'm not happy though. So when there is a job related problem, you land up in a lot of stress. When there is a loss of a loved one, love someone so much, they have to, when they leave you, you have to accept it. When there is a loss of a loved one, we have so much of stress in us. These are known as social stressors. Physiological stressors, that is because of yourself, your physical body. There are certain stress that can occur because of your own physical changes. The adolescents, when they go through a hormonal change, there's so much of peer pressure one side. There is a push and pull between them. There's so much of hormonal upheaval in them. So they don't know whether to take what you say or what the friend says or what the mind says. There's so much of turbulence in their mind. It's more a roller coaster ride when you're in an adolescent phase. It might be very thrilling, but at the same time, it's very complicated. So problematic though. So adolescents can go through a lot of stress. Menopause in women, that is the time we see them going into depression, going into anxiety. They come and tell you they feel they have cold, hot and cold flushes through the body. Times women have said, I can have hot air in my ears. I'm not able to eat. I'm not able to sleep. So menopause can cause a lot of disturbance in the physiology of a woman. Basically, when you're not well, maybe fever. The people asymptomatic to corona also fall ill. Their physiology could cause problem. Any illness. It could be from minimum to maximum, it could be the lowest to the highest. Poor nutrition, when you don't eat properly, when your food is not good, you don't eat properly, or the nutritive content is not good, you have no physical energy, which causes physiological disturbance and stress. More importantly, sleep disturbance causes a lot of stress. Then comes what is more important for a psychologist, your thoughts, how your brain interprets or translates the complex changes, whatever is happening within the society or outside the society. When there is a lot of problem, you feel there is so much of stress. As I was telling you, you were talking about the attitude of the person where they can, find a stress positive also. There are two types of stress. One is called as eustress, which is a positive stress. Probably there's a wedding, you have a lot of work, that is a eustress. Even organizing this program, it's a very good event that is being done. There is a lot of stress talking in and organizing, finding people and streaming it on YouTube. All this was stress, but you have a positive effect on it. So that is called as eustress. It helps you, it motivates you to do better. And next time you're willing to take more challenges. Negative stress is called as distress. I don't like to be distressed. I don't like to be upset. You're totally drained when you're distressed. Everybody could face the same situation. Supposing you say you have an exam tomorrow, people might say, okay, I have say close to 10 hours. I can prepare. Even if it's a sudden test, I can prepare. Give somebody a very challenging job, they might like it. They might say, okay, let me try it. That makes me feel better. But whereas there are people can never accept it. They might panic. Immediately they will say, oh my God, there's only so much of time. How do I prepare for a test? By brooding more and more about it, they might not do it properly. And they start believing, I told you right, I'm not capable of doing this, which stresses them even the more. So the stress forms a loop in the person. As I told you, a person might fly away from stress or fight stress and achieve success. Particularly, type A people who are always running ahead, who are always people who are, who cannot stand in a queue, who are very restless, basically highly restless. You go with them outside, you're sure they're going to pick up a quarrel with somebody. They're running on a heated show. They never stand calm. They always need to keep running. These people definitely get into a lot of stress. Whereas you have people who are type B, who are very calm, who can stay calm and composed and relaxed. They can think much clearly. They can plan very calmly. Type B people can handle stress in a very productive way, whereas type A people land up with a lot of physical complaints because they not able to handle stress, or they can even convert eustress into distress because of their personality and their attitude. So let us see what we are going to do with stress. How many of you think, it is easy to handle stress, or it is going to be totally difficult to handle stress? Might sound very simple. When I say, are you stressed? People will say, what a question you're asking. Today we are in Corona. Definitely, I can't go out. I can't even go buy things that I want to. I was wondering, people who were talking to me always said, I cannot go out and meet my loved ones. More importantly, I can't go to the shop to get whatever I want. I was thinking of the doctors. So stressful to wear a PPE and a mask, particularly they wear a double mask. You know, it looks like thin layer mask over which they have a double mask. And they have to dress up so completely. Think of the paramedical staff. Aren't they stressed that before they go home, there's going to be so much of apprehension and fear whether they have contracted corona because they were testing the patient. You don't know whether he's positive or he's negative, but you're going to take his sample. There's a lot of stress in the individual. How are they handling this? The way they have to dress with the PPE, it might look thin. As I told you, it might look thin, but it doesn't allow air to move freely. In that case, how do they live wearing that dress for 24 hours or even 8 hours? And the climate is not that great here. You see, there's so much of, I told you weather could be a stress. It is sultry outside. It looks gloomy, but it's not cold. So to wear a PPE might be very, disgusting for them. Be very difficult for them. But they're still there. Fine, these people know how to protect them. Think about the people who clean the roads. Every day, in spite of the lockdown, all these 100 days, they've been cleaning the door. They've been cleaning door to door. The roads have been cleanly swept. All your garbage from your doors were taken by them. Probably they had a mask which was not as great as what the doctor had. He had double mask. These people either had a kerchief or a used mask. They were not able to afford for a new mask, so they started using the same mask. Aren't they stressed? Isn't the family bothered about them that they might contract corona or they will contract corona? More than you and me going to a shop or not meeting our people? Don't you think these people are highly stressed and the family is very much stressed? Yeah, we have police people been standing on the road ever since the day the lockdown was announced. We have the good side of police too. Maybe we have the wrong side. We have certain people who really are ritually doing their job. They do it as a service to humankind. They've been kind to us, they've spoken to us, they've told us. But beyond that, they've been upset with us and they're really harsh with us. They try to explain to us many times. So the police people, the doctors, the corporation people who help to have this street clean, they are the people who are going through a lot of pressure now, but still they've not stayed back. If you read or if you heard about long back in the paper, it was long back when I read, there was a man, long back, it's just during this corona phase. A man lost his mother. You know what was his job? He was just spraying these pesticides for the roads. That was his job in corporation. The very second day after his mother's death, he was there to spray. They are under immense stress, but we've never learned to appreciate them. Instead, we only keep complaining. We have been used to complain. We always prefer to complain. I don't have this, I don't have that. We are used to that. So let us take this as a take home and see, now knowing what is stress, what are the types of stress, how it happens, what changes it could make within me. Let us see how to handle it. Let us avoid stress. Is it possible to avoid stress? Maybe somebody is telling, therefore it could be possible. If you cannot avoid stress, if people say, you know what, my job is a stress, how do you expect me to avoid stress? Or my boss is my stress, how do you expect me to leave him? Or my family is my stress, my spouse could be my stress, or my children could be my stress factor, or my in laws, or my parents. How do I avoid them? Is it possible to avoid them? Probably no. In that case, you need to alter stress. I understand. Let me see how I can alter stress. I need to learn techniques to alter stress. If that is not happening, I need to adapt to stress. Try to avoid, not happening. I try to alter, neither happening. Therefore, I adapt to stress. Then, if I can't, learn to live with stress. That is what we are saying. We were asked to learn to live with corona. Now I am telling you, learn to live with stress. If not, accept stress. Let us see how we are going to do this. Is it so easy to avoid stress or alter stress or adapt to stress or accept stress and fly in the sky so happily like birds. But we don't what will the other person think of me if I say no, I can't do it? What will the other person say? No, I cannot give time for you now. So we put ourselves in the back seat. We put our comforts in the back seat and we think of others, and whether we like it or not, we might say, okay, I will do it. It could be from the minimal of having an extra coffee with somebody. You might not want to, but because that person is offering, you have no choice and you drink and you come and puke. We don't know to say no. And if I can eat two idlis, I must be able to stick by that. But I might try to please somebody, so when they say, hey, come on, have another one, I might have another one. But I cannot extend myself by having more than three or four, because that causes a lot of stress physically also. So I must learn to say no and stick on to what I say. I can't say first no and then say, okay, because you're asking, I will change. No, you need to think, decide, understand whether it is a stress for you, then say no and stick on with your no. It could even be friends offering alcohol. You might say, no, I don't drink, but your no should be so assertive. Either you avoid the person or your no should be so assertive that you don't go with them or they don't call you and you stick with the plan, and not by saying, maybe the next time if they call me, I will go off. Should not be tempted. So your no should be assertive. You can say a no only when you know your limits and you need to stick on to your no. Taking more than what you can handle is the surefire recipe for stress. Yes, people take more work than what they can do. You go to a buffet, you see people taking everything on the plate, and 35% of the food is only consumed, and the rest is thrown off to the dustbin. When people are struggling for food here, we don't value food and we throw it off. You must understand, you must take only how much you can handle. You can't have your hands on everything. You can't think you're capable of handling everything at a time. So, taking more than what you can handle is a recipe. Definitely, it is a recipe for stress. So, you must see how much you can handle, to what extent you can handle, how much you are capable of handling. Beyond that, learn to say no. Avoid hot button topics. Probably people might discuss about politics and religion. If you are not comfortable with that, please excuse yourself from the person. Learn to say no there. Say, I'm sorry, I cannot stand here to look to this or hear this because this is not what I like. This is absolutely not my cup of tea. So excuse yourself and say, I'm sorry, I'll get back after 10 minutes, or once the discussion is over, you can call me. Have a to do list. Before going to bed, have a small notebook where you can decide what all you're going to do for tomorrow. What are the things you need to do for tomorrow? So you will know that you are having this amount of job that you planned accordingly. When you have a to do list, you also plan your time based on that. So you don't humble by saying, oh my God, I had a list to do, but I did not complete it. No. Once you know your time limit, you know what you're capable of, you cannot take more than that. Then, when you prepare whatever you've done, you'll be able to do the best of it. By doing all these things, you can avoid stress to a very great extent. These are proper methods where you learn to say no. You know to stick to your plans or know your limits and stick to it. Talk more when you take more than what you can handle, or when you talk more than what you can do, it definitely is a sure recipe for stress. Avoid hot buttons. People, might talk something that you don't like, and have a prepared list for the next day's event so that you can start your day relaxed and fresh. When your mind is so relaxed, you have a lot of creativity. You can plan a lot of things and you will do everything productively. So don't rush to the last moment. That is why people, our elders used to say, even when you have to go to your train or your bus, you need to be there 10 minutes earlier so that you can relax, you can assess the situation, and then get into the bus. You will not be in a hurry and board a wrong bus, whatever. This is all happening when we are under stress. If you cannot avoid, as I told you, you need to alter the situation. Okay, let me see how am I going to alter this. The best way is to change your way of communication, how you live. You've been living a doormat all the while, trying to please somebody, whatever they say is. I might not like eating biryani. If my friend says, you know what, biryani is very good, I will also say, okay, biryani is very good. And we try to take it because we can't say no, or we never communicate clearly. You don't explain to them, I'm sorry, I don't eat biryani or I don't like biryani. So you need to change your way of communication. You don't have to be aggressive by saying, no, I will not eat biryani. You have to be polite. You have to communicate. More importantly, you have to tell what you feel. In that case, when you're telling, don't be upset, don't be angry, don't be crying. Instead, think clearly and talk politely so that the other person also receives what you say. So you need to change your way of communication. Express your feelings. Do not bottle them. We know this time all of us are immensely stressed, and probably if your husband wants something more than what you've cooked, or your children demand more, or you feel that your family is not helping you, please talk to them openly. Call them and say, hey guys, look, I need your help. It would be nice if one of you could wash those vessels. I'm sorry, I'm tired today. I would like somebody to make the dinner for us. And so express your feelings. Don't bottle them. The more you bottle them, the more you're going to become a volcano one day and you'll burst. You know, it is better to tell it when it is small rather than keeping it piled over, and creating a lot of pressure. At one moment, it could break free and it could create more problems. By willing to compromise, find a middle ground. Never think, what I'm saying is right. People should accept what I'm saying. No, need not do. At times, you might need to compromise on saying, okay, fine, I accept with what you say because it makes sense, because you've given me clarification on this point and it sounds genuine. So you try to be willing to make a compromise and stand in the middle ground. Most of the times the problem happens because we are poles extreme. The one person here would want the opponent to come to what they say, whereas the opponent will want you to come to their place, which might not happen. So both of you need to find a middle ground. You move few steps. So make certain compromises by saying, no, I will move forward. I will see how much I can make things work. Let me see how I can do that. For which you need to have a middle ground where there is a balance between both. When you make compromises, you are neither there nor to the other person's side, but you're in the middle, and this situation that you've planned and what you've decided today is not a big difference because you made a compromise. Manage your time properly. As I told you, time management is very, very important. A successful person also has 24 hours. An unsuccessful person also has 24 hours. Successful person spends planning, executing, prioritizing, whereas the unsuccessful person is brooding, complaining, whining, crying. I have to do so much of it. Then it is last time that they need to hurry up and do things. You need to manage your time better so that you are able to do what you plan to do much ahead without stress. See, the point is, most of us will say, hey, you know what, I'm managing my time properly. Agreed. Are you without stress? Have you managed your time without being stressful? That shows you've not pre planned before. So life needs to have a lot of pre-planning so that there are adversities where sudden exceptions can come. Corona, we can't be pre-planned for that. There can be a sudden exceptional change. We have to accept it. But most of the time, when you learn to manage your time properly, you become more successful because you know what you're going to do, you know how you're going to do, to what time you're going to do, and you might not drag on doing the same. When you can't alter, you need to adapt. What is adapt? Reframe your problem. We've heard of this word eagle's eye or bird's view. Birds keep flying. The eagle keeps flying high, but it can spot its prey at a very low distance. Have you seen an eagle? Once it spots its prey, it will come straight. It will come directly and it will catch the prey. And that is viewing the situation in a positive perspective. I want to talk about a story here. There was an old man, who used to carry water in two pots. He had it on a stick, he had hung it. One pot was cracked in the middle, but the old man continued to carry both. The nice pot, or the pot which was beautiful without a crack in it, started mocking the pot with a crack. It said, "You're a waste. You have nothing to look forward in life. I don't understand why this old man is carrying you with me. Look at me. I don't spill water. I go and give the mistress of the house the pot full of water. But by the time they reach there, yours is half done. Aren't you a waste?" This pot also felt, the one with a crack in it. Yes, maybe I'm a waste. Let me talk to this owner and say, why are you carrying me? I'm a waste because when you come, there's only half the pot. So please don't carry me. The next day, the owner said, okay, today will be the last day. I will carry you, but I want you to do one thing. I want you to look to the side that you were coming. You look at the ground that you were coming, wherever you spilt water, and tell me what you saw. So both were puzzled. What are we going to see? So the new pot was telling the old pot, let's see. Or the pot which didn't have a crack was saying, okay, let's see what was there on your side. I'm only going to win here also. The next day, when they saw, there was one side which was full of beautiful roses, beautiful flowers, beautiful plants. The other side, where the pot did not have a crack, had nothing. It was barren land. Now the pot understood. My old man not only kept me, with a lot of integrity and pride, he also made me make this world bloom. So the owner came and said, did you see? I had potted seeds, plants before. I had just sown seeds before. When I carried you, you spilt water throughout the area. You fed them with water. You nourished them. And now you see the entire area is full of beautiful flowers. It's more important. So look at the positive perspective. In any situation, we have a positive perspective. But when you start brooding, you will never understand what is that you really saw in yourself. So reframe your problem. Never think this is a stress. Tell yourself, maybe. When I think long back, an NGO asked me, how do you view this stress? They had asked different people and different people had spoken. And I was the last person to talk about it. And I said, I think it's the life of a butterfly. Everybody looked puzzled at me. What do you mean? Lockdown period is life of a butterfly. Butterfly can move around happily. What are you talking, lady? Are you crazy? Then I said, before becoming a butterfly, do you know it is in the pupa stage? It is in a cocoon stage where it closes itself and stays within. After some time, it eats its own skin and comes out beautiful. The wings are so beautiful, the lovely design in it. So, did the butterfly feel upset that I'm being cocooned? I have nothing to eat. It's so dark inside. I can't do anything. The butterfly is a person who starts us to look at the positive side of ourselves. So, why don't we use this period to reframe ourselves, look into the positives ourselves, make a lot of correction, introspect yourself, and make a lot of corrections. So, reframe the problem. Take this time to introspect yourself. Probably when you're in a traffic, you can listen to music or you can enjoy the time alone. How many of us felt, working from home is difficult? Please think of people who don't have a job. You at least have a job and you have a home. There are people who don't have a job or don't have a home. Look at it from a different perspective. Listen to music or you can sing. Enjoy your time alone. Please bring down your standards of perfection. When it is high, you are never going to feel happy that you've reached the place where you wanted to reach because you are not going to stop keeping it there. You will be raising the bar of perfection another 5 feet, another 5 feet. Every time you try to touch the bar, you will raise it high. That is where you keep adjusting your standards and you feel people are cheating, when they don't work up to your perfectionism or when you are not up to your perfectionism, you feel you're not capable of anything. You're not worth it. What is the point in doing this? So don't demand perfectionism in every situation. When we are perfect, we insist the other person also needs to be perfect. Please, my dear friends, believe me, God has created everybody different. No two people are, alike mentally. It's totally different. They have their own perspective of seeing things, their own method of doing things. Don't insist, even if it were your child, even if it were your spouse or your sibling or your parent, to do things the way you want them to be, as if you are perfect, that they must also do it the way you have done. Not possible. None of us are similar. Neither were we 2 years before to what we are today. So you need to understand that you can only compete with yourself and don't force somebody to be the way you want or don't compete with somebody and pull yourself or stretch yourself to become a very perfectionist person. Let's have reasonable standards. If I can do it only for 5 hours, I must be able to do it only for 5 hours. I cannot say, hey, come on, I can do it for 10 hours. Let me do it. No. Your standards should be standards. Focus on the positives. As I told you, there's so much that you can do. Reflect on yourself. Appreciate what all you have in life and learn to adapt to a stressor. This is just a time pass. We will definitely come out of the stress provided we maintain social distancing. We all wear a mask and we try to understand, how to handle ourselves by washing our hands or using a proper sterilium or a sterilizer where you can keep your hands clean, keep your place clean, reflect on your life. There are so many people who've lost life. You and I are living. So let's learn to adapt to the stress. Though it is a stress, let's look at the positive side of it and adapt to stress. Finally, let's accept stress. There are certain things which we cannot change. Death of a loved one. We all wish we did not lose our grandparent or somebody whom you love the most. Can't do anything. It has been pre-prescribed that the person lives and dies in that day. So you can't change that. If you have a chance to go to the Alcoholic Anonymous group, you will see them recite a prayer by saying, God, help me to understand what I can change, what I cannot change, and teach me to have, or give me the wisdom to differentiate between what I can change and what I cannot change. Similarly, certain things in life need to be accepted. Time is a healer. when you lose something. It could be your job, it could be the death of a loved one, it could be a divorce. But time is a healer for which you need to accept. We all might have questions. Why did this happen to me? Why me? Why did God give this to me? We have no answer except that when you accept this has happened to me, there is a thought process where you know how to handle it. The more you start questioning where you never get answers, you're getting into more stress because you don't get an answer for your question. Don't try to control what you cannot control. What is within your purview, you can control. You cannot control what is not in our hands. Probably we can't do anything about corona, but there are certain things that we can do. We need not go out. We need not go without a mask, or we need not go when it is not necessary. Try not to control what you cannot control. Learn from your mistakes. All of us make mistakes. Learn from your mistakes. Learn to understand. There are times that everybody has come out with something positive in their life by learning from the mistakes. Not everything is in the book. I'll tell you, not everything is in the book. It's in your own experience. But we don't do that because we never accept we are wrong. Very important. You need to accept you're wrong and learn from where you went wrong, what you went wrong, or how you went wrong, and see to it you don't make the same mistake the next time. Learn to forgive. It's a beautiful word. When you learn to forgive people, you take people with all the mistakes. They would have caused a lot of harm to you. Why should I learn to forgive them? That will be $1 million question. He did this to me, he did that to me. Why should I forgive him? What is it that I should do for it? All that you need to understand. That is all they know. This is all what they know. So learn to forgive people. When you learn to forgive people, you accept the world that in spite of being in an imperfect place, it's beautiful to do. You can make mistakes. There can be imperfection in their lives. They could have harmed you. They could have teased you. They could have fought with you. It's still okay. Learn to forgive. Get to read Zen's story. It talks beautifully of learn to forgive. Let go of your anger. When you forgive somebody, you're never holding your anger. The more you hold your anger, the more you're going to have animosity against the person, which will make you very stressful. Stress can cause so much of disaster in your physical health. People who've gone with a lot of stress have landed up in myocardial infarction, who've landed up in heavy hypertension, diabetes, infertility, obesity, so much of physical problems. You land up because of diabetes, you land up in renal problems. Because of hypertension, you could have cardiac problems. You have skin problems, so much of itching, where your immunity goes off. The more you're stressed, your immunity also comes down, and you are vulnerable for any disease. But when I learned to accept and learn to give away the anger that I was holding, I become smooth. I am no longer holding this. I want to tell you a story. Buddha was once meditating. There was one man who was totally against Buddha. So he went up to Buddha and started scolding him. Buddha never woke up. He was meditating. Next day, the same man went and scolded Buddha more. So this practice went on for months together. This man, after a few days, got so irritated. Then it became few months. He became very furious. Then he woke up Buddha. He said, "Hey, you know what? Why didn't you respond to what I told you?" He said, "What did you tell me? I called you a fool. I called you an idiot. I called you a pig. I called you more." Buddha said, "I am sorry. Therefore, I did not respond. I'm sorry. I'm not a dog. Therefore, I did not respond." He then This man realized, I've been holding anger, I've been shouting, but this man was never angry with me. He never responded to my anger, he never reacted to my anger. That's success. And Buddha learned to forgive this man, and he apologized to Buddha by falling prostrate on his feet and saying, I am sorry. Learn to forgive people. Most of them would say, I might forgive him, but I will never forget the incident. That can never happen. When you forgive somebody, you've forgotten the incident too. So, your anger and holding on to the past bitter incidences where people have really caused harm to you, you become another recipe for stress. So please forgive. Let go of your anger so that you come out, you bloom out to be a beautiful butterfly as God created us to give something positive to the society. The more angry you are, you can never give anything positive to the society. If we are not giving anything positive to the society, what are we taking back from the society? Can we take back when we are not giving something to the society? So please, my dear friends, let go of your anger. Forgive people, whatever sins they've done. The Jesus Christ talks of forgiving. Learn to forgive sins. He was crucified because of our sins. He accepted our sins and got into the pain of it. So let's learn a lesson from all the people of us who lived for us, who died for us, who taught the best for us. Let go of your anger. What else can we do to reduce stress? Relax. You could meditate. You could do some breathing exercise. You might do some physical exercise. You might even sleep. These are easy ways of reducing stress. A good sense of you. Most of us have forgotten to laugh. We are the only beings who can laugh. Animals can't do that. God made us laugh and smile to make us so beautiful. We're forgetting to laugh because we are under immense stress. We don't know how to laugh. So please, have a good sense of humor. Don't mock somebody. Your humor should be in such a way that everybody is happy to laugh with you, not hurt when you make them laugh. Exercise. Have some physical exercise. Just walk around the house. Now I know everybody is going to tell me, you know what? I was going for walking in the parks. Now I'm not able to do. But you can still do. Walk from the kitchen to your house door, or walk from your bedroom to the house door. You have stairs, climb the stairs. So many ways where you can do exercise. Do yoga, which is also a form of exercise. Eat a healthy diet. Avoid junk. The more you are in junk food, the more you're going to get stressed. Reduce caffeine, too much of coffee. Sugar can promote stress. Absolutely. Avoid alcohol. Say no to cigarettes and drugs. Because these are areas where we find people who are depressed start depending more on alcohol, on smoking and drugs, and they land up either in a physical complaint or in a psychological complaint, and they might end up committing suicide. Sleep well. We all need to sleep well. That gives us so much of energy to get up the next day. However stressed you are, probably if you could sleep well, you'll feel energetic the next day. There are certain ways where you can help yourself by listening to music or singing. Let's all sing and rejoice our life because we are still alive. Be happy. You need not be a professional singer. You can listen to music and sing along with it. As I told you, appreciate nature. Look at how God created the nature for us. He was so kind that He had fruits for us. He had vegetables for us. He had trees for us. No, learn to appreciate nature. Put yourself into some therapy. If you cannot control anger, meet a therapist and get yourself some help. Go for a spa. You deserve it. More importantly, cultivate a hobby. Whenever you're stressed, go back to the hobby. Even otherwise, you can look at your family pictures, which will help you feel comfortable and happy. So, dear stress, let's break up. I don't want to have you anymore. So let's break up. The relationship with stress and me is over. So the day she let go of the things that were weighing her down was the day she began to shine the brightest. I'm sure, as Katrina Mayer said, we're all going to shine and become, people who can be happy and make somebody else also happy. So happiness is a ripple; it keeps passing around. So that can happen only when you're happy, when you're stress free. So learn to think positive. The more positive you are, as I told you in the very first slide, your attitude and perception matters. So when you have a positive attitude, your stress becomes, your distress becomes your eustress, and you will be capable of handling any difficult situation. Thank you all for hearing me. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for addressing three A's of stress in a beautiful and fascinating way, ma'am.
Thank
Friends,
you.
the place where we all scare and not wanted to go is the prison. But she boldly and gently walked into that place to develop and bring out the positive behavior of the prisoners. Yes, she has been appointed as a special counselor for the Pulal prisoners. Even in her busy schedule, she readily accepted our invitation to encourage all of us through her positive talk. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much for your presence here.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been a pleasure to address the group. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Let me first of all start by giving glory to the Almighty God for making this entire week a resounding success. This is the time to show our gratitude. Good evening, everyone. I'm honored and lucky to express my heartfelt gratitude to all the heroes of this week. I express my sincere thanks to Dr. N. Rajnikanta, who insisted to use the eyes and not to lose the eyes on the first day. My heartfelt thanks to Dr. R. Rajesh, who told how to face our challenges with successful chances. From the bottom of my heart, I thank Dr. Divya Ravikumar, who made us to understand that a woman is a human and she has to be cared. Wholeheartedly, I thank Dr. K. Vijay, who made us to understand that oral health is overall health. I also extend my thanks to Dr. P. Mayureshan, who made the community to have a hope that I had a cancer and the cancer never had me. At last but not least, I thank Dr. Nappinnai Charan, who implanted a secret that it's not stress that kills us, it's our reaction to it. Thank you for all the doctors and healthcare workers for putting yourselves in the way of danger to save others, to save the public. This is what it means to be a hero. This is what it means to build a beautiful legacy. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.
Ma'am, there are some questions, ma'am. Can I post it?
Yes. Yeah, please, please. Why not? Why not? How to handle the people who always try to create negativity surrounding, whether through calling bad names or scolding, while one wish to live positively. You need to avoid such people. Like these people are hot buttons. When you know they are like that, please leave them. Or if you cannot avoid them, accept this is how they are. Really, it's your choice whether to react or to respond or ignore. So when you know who you are, why you bothered? It's like Buddha who did not react to bad names. Somebody told him. Nobody can change us from being positive. I think we need to understand, Dr. Savita, that we can ignore all these people and move forward in life because your goal is to be stress free, happy in life. If you have that goal in life, you will not be distracted by anything. Yeah. So learn to avoid such people or accept this is how they are. Does stress affect our memory power? Exactly, definitely. Definitely. It doesn't affect our memory power per se, but you're so preoccupied in the stress. So you might not know where you kept your key because that is not a memory loss. You're so preoccupied in your stress that your mind is totally blocked, and it's so hazy that you don't know where you left things. Definitely, when there is stress, it is it is a synonym where you have irrational thoughts. You don't think rational. If there is a death in the family, is there a rational thinking? Nobody can even remember the phone number of the person whom they call regularly. So it is that you're preoccupied with that and it affects our rational thinking. Yes. Is it possible to do exercise at the time of stress? Nothing is impossible. It is in the mind. When I know exercise is a way to beat stress, that's all. When I know the answer, why didn't I take the sum? It's as simple as that. You need to do nothing. You can just walk up and down. Overstressed you are. You can have a squeeze ball and squeeze in your hands. That is an exercise. How to how the stress formed in life and how it will avoid. Please say some points regarding. Oh, stress is formed because of our expectations. As I told you, our attitudes and perceptions. We want certain things the way we want, not how it is. We always like, how I wish I was a bit tall. How I wish I was thin like her. We don't even accept ourselves. Then how are we going to accept situations? So when you learn, everybody has the feeling of wanting to be something or somebody or in a different manner. That is where we have a lot of stress in our life. You need to understand, appreciate who you are. Be thankful for who you are. That is the best way to avoid stress. Yeah. Next question. Seek knowledge of around time. Exactly. Now, as we are supposed to take online classes, very true. This is highly stressful. Other than the online class, keep away your cell phones. You have no choice, but you have to see the monitor. So try not to be in front of the TV. Try not to be in front of your phone. When you are in class, when you have to take online class, just see to it that you are in front of the screen for some time. Other times, talk to your family members. Do some exercise also that will not create stress. Thank you for your response. Like very good counseling to all of us. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All the participants are very happy and they are motivated by your positive talk, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you for the opportunity, madam. Thank you. Thank you to your management. Thanks to the Almighty.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Good evening, friends. Riba ma'am, are you able to see the slide? Riba ma'am?
Ma'am, no problem. Carry on, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Good evening, friends. It's now my pleasant duty to propose a vote of thanks on behalf of the Department of Science, St. Joseph College of Engineering. We would like to express our sincere gratitude to our most respected chairman, Dr. B. Babu Manogaran sir, St. Joseph Group of Institutions, for his consistent encouragement and providing an inspiring environment for such educational developments. Also, we would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to our Managing Director, Mrs. S. Jessipriya Madam, and our respected Director, Mr. B. Shashishekar Sir. We have been fortunate enough to assisted by our Honorable Principal, Dr. Vaddi Sheshagiri Rao, and Dean Research, Dr. B. Parvadavardhini. They have been a constant support for us. We would also like to express our sincere thanks to our head of the department and our convener of the program, Dr. V. N. Nandini Devi, who has always played a very vital role to help us carry out such important events. Last but not least, I thank all the participants, well-wishers for showing their interest in the program and making it successful. Thank you.
Friends, thank you for your untired participation throughout this week. It is not us, it is you who have made the entire week to be a successful week. We assure that we will meet soon with more interesting webinar like this. Thank you very much, friends. It is Kriba.
Arulmozhi, thank you.
Thank you, one and all. Bye bye.